I actually think, in light of the fact Falcons is here with Morrissey and Nico now, Vitality, it looks like, by the way, they're going to win everything this year. Like right now, there's no reason for them to stop winning. I actually am going to go with like a take like Maui's, but I'm going to go one even better than that. So I'm going to take Maui's take. You know, Maui had the take that Spirit won't win any titles this year, but his reason was it was the year the dragon ended, March or whatever it was, whatever that take was. I'm going to take that, but I'm going to go one higher. The reason why they won't win any more trophies with this 5-man lineup of Spirit Maui is because of Donk. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is this, because the key detail that changes everything, in my opinion, this year, is that news that implies Kyosuke is going to go to Falcons. Because, bro, what that actually implies is they don't think they need him in that team and they need the extra. That basically means, Maui, if that's at all true that they're even considering that move, that means they don't agree with us that they actually have any kind of a foul power issue or like it's too much weight on Donk's shoulder. So the reason why I say I think Donk is the reason they won't win any more titles is because this actually does remind me, fully enough, like that guy was saying about the Astralis era. You remember when that year when Simple was the best? I always thought one of the worst things about that year, 2018, was it did sort of make people in Na'Vi be like, actually, we can just have Flamey Edward, it's fine. Because they had Simple as well, and Electronic too, to be fair. So I think what they used to do was you could still beat Astralis with that team. You could still beat team, like you could beat everyone in theory. So what the problem is, in teams, if you think it is possible to win, oftentimes a factor of being a good team is you don't just give up. You don't just go, I better kick someone. You just keep working at it. It's like Na'Vi have still, where they still haven't like considered the roster move because they're still thinking, there's a way out of this as well. So essentially the problem is I think Donk props them up too much. And the difference was I was cool with it at the beginning of the season, guys, because when it was only Vitality and no one even knew if they'd make it yet, no one knew how Elite would do on phase. I actually thought if you looked at the rest of the scene, it was fine to keep that roster because if Donk is at MVP numbers, you have a chance to win each time. Bro, I don't actually know that they do have a chance now. Remember, every final's BO5 nowadays. Now we've got all these dangerous teams, like I said. I think if you look across the board, even when Donk does play like that now, they're still just going to come like semis or make a final and lose. They're not going to beat Vitality in any of these finals. So I actually think, sadly, it's one of those classic ones where they will just look at the team and be like, this is fine. We're like number 2 or number 3 in the world. It's like, yeah, but I don't think you're going to win events. And the worst thing is, if this means you let the Kyosuke guy go to Falcons and you're just sitting there permanently with this roster, I think you're not going to win. I'm kind of with Maui now. I thought it was too harsh before, but I also think if you look at the change in landscape, I could see them being like the 4th best team now. They could be, basically, I could see them almost getting into a position like Na'Vi is now, except the difference is they have Donks. They'll win the odd big game still. They'll still make some finals here and there, you know, but I'm on Maui's train. I don't think they're going to win any more tournaments, Kassad. I think this lineup is going to have a hard time.
Are you implying between the lines that Spirit to become better, they need to bring that Kyosuke guy?
No, but I just think the fact they don't even seem to be considering that. Like, put it this way, Kassad. If you ever have a player, like, if anyone had known what Morrissey was going to be or what Donk was going to be, you'd never ever sell these players, right? You'd bring them into your team, wouldn't you? Like, essentially, we've discussed this in the past. One of the things, actually, from the NBA that I changed my take on is I've changed my whole position on how you do drafting. Because since we're drafting, you can never really know where your team's going to be in a few years anyway. I actually think whenever you have a draft opportunity in sports, you should just take the best player available. And if it's ever like a generational talent, like you have the number 1 pick, essentially, you should never do like one of those ones where they just take like, well, we just need a big man. Like, no, if you have the number 1 or number 2 pick, you take the like potential generational player. You take the guy who's going to be like Kawhi Leonard or fucking Kevin Durant or something. So the reason I say it is this, Kassad. I think the idea they think they don't need Kyosuke implies they think the current squad has enough like talent, firepower. Whereas the problem is I don't think they do, mate. So if you're going to sell that player, pretty sweet. Think about this, Kassad. You're not taking the money from selling him and then going and buying Flit or something, are you? Like, it's just probably not happening. You're probably just sticking with who you have. No?
Maybe just they think that Kyosuke is not good enough.
That could also be true.
I think
some Nico Mannion levels of GMing here, but
I think that's more probable. I think they're aware that Vitality. I think that they're aware that Vitality is ahead of them right now.
Okay.
In every aspect, ever since they got drops, they are ahead of them. The results are showing. The head-to-heads, the fucking everybody sees it. Like,
well, let me ask you this then, Kassad. Well, at the moment, while you still have Kyosuke, it's free to try, right? You could just give it a go. Like, it's not gamble,
I was gonna get there.
So isn't that kind of telling?
You are kind of giving away. Let's say this is true. He's going to Falcons or somewhere else.
We're just guessing, yeah.
You are kind of giving up on at least a shot to try with him. Maybe because they think like, okay, we try with him, it doesn't work, his value drops. Maybe we won't sell him to Falcons for like 1.5 million. Maybe we try him, he goes like, he doesn't deliver, and then his value from 1 million drops to like 200K.
I would even
And then
argue,
we don't
though,
get the money.
Kassad, I would actually argue that in theory, Kyosuke should have more value in the Spirit team than even to any other team, because the difference is every other team does think they're buying Donk. He doesn't have to be Donk. They've already got Donk. All he needs to do is be better than either Magix or fucking
Whatever
Zontics,
he-
you know?
whoever he-
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I think it
And
makes more
also-
sense for Spirit to use him, mate.
Yes, absolutely. I do agree. I don't think they should sell him. Like, if he's what the community thing is. Although I'm not sure.
I can't myself either. Until I've seen him play Tier 1, you can never know exactly.
It's hard to say. It's very hard. It's nearly impossible. But let me ask you this. Like, let's say you want him in Spirit main team. Who are you replacing?
That is the tough question.
That is the fucked up question.
The problem on that one is, if I just think it through, I can keep going between the two. Like, part of me thinks I'd replace Zontics because I feel like it's just more of like a star role. But then again, I also think Zontics is actually, if Zontics could just only do his role and someone did frag more from Magic's position, I also think you could get away with it. So it's hard on that one, mate. I think Zontics is a really hard player. By the way, he should be their like problem child player. It's not someone you can kick, but it's like tricky to use. I don't know. What would you do?
Let's say he's swapping with Magix, right? And at the same time, Zontics is under less pressure and under more pressure. Under less pressure because he doesn't have to frag that much because now, his other guys' frags will be, going to Kyosuke. But then the other teams are thinking, maybe we should hit A rather than B where Donk and Kyosuke are. Maybe we should make our game plans towards the other side and forcing other side, which puts a lot more pressure to the guy holding the side, which is Zontics. And he doesn't deliver enough numbers, then, what do? Like, they switch him too, and you kind of chain reaction there. The only valid argument for them not selling him is the one that you mentioned, is like that not even losing a chance to even try. Because, like I said, is like Vitality is ahead of them. And if Falcons keep spending this much money, at the end of like fucking 2027, they will probably be ahead of them too. Because they keep buying and buying and buying because they have unlimited money. Spirit doesn't have unlimited money. They are very conservative when it comes to spending, right? Even their salaries are not that big, and now they have these academy teams. They're using their money and resources towards that kind of aspect, right? That they're just getting players into the team from the academy, which was like Vegas, which was Zontix, which was not Shiro, but Donk and other people, and now possibly Kyosuke, but we don't know. Overall, losing the chance, like I said, to even try is foolish, right? I would at least try, and even if it decreases the value of Kyosuke.
Obviously, this was tied into the take they won't win any more tournaments. What do you think? Will they win tournaments with this roster?
The only way right now, I mean, if you eye test right now and everything that's going on, Vitality is invincible at the moment. But we thought like that about many other teams, and then
of course, yeah.
Right. What can happen? What can happen for Spirits to win the event? Let's think of it like that.
I mean, I think Spirit will win Astana.
Donk and Shiro have a crazy ass tournament with the backup of one of those three. They're gonna have like G2's type of Cologne Katowice thing, right? Where they had 4 players just delivering. That can happen. Vitality having an off day.
Oh, right, but the way Maui's right, Astana technically doesn't have Vitality or Mouse, or Falcons by the look of it. So maybe they'll win that event. But I mean like an event with all the teams there.
Yes, I know what you mean. But like top.
Yeah, exactly.
Top of the teams. Yeah, we're going to count that. I'm not going to count this one as well as we're not counting for the other teams. Yeah. We're not going to count it for them. So the way they win it is Vitality having a bad day, which is not impossible. Because Vitality, as strong as they are right now, they don't remind me of Astralis yet, of SK, MIBR yet. They're going there, they're close to there. Even beating teams when they're playing bad. Is Vitality beating teams when they're playing bad right now? We didn't see that yet. We didn't see them playing a tough, rough game when they're like 0-5 down, 1 map down, then the decider 2-7. Like shit like that, where they have to like climb their way back up. We didn't see it yet. After we see that and them winning a couple of games, that I'm gonna say, yep, Spirit has no chance in the next 6 months unless they do something. But when that happens and Vitality drops, that's Spirit's chance to kind of see that, hey, baby, this can be done. After all, we do have Donk, we do have Shiro. In the right circumstances, not too right, but like some of the circumstances, we can still be in an event because they did it before. I mean, before Robs came in, but still.
Okay. Maui, what do you think?
I mean, it factors into just. I mean, obviously, I made the take that it was about the Year of the Dragon, which is true, but also it is because I just feel like they're still like the least well-rounded team in Tier 1, and they have the best rifler for my money in Donk, but if they don't get, I think that Kyosuke could be in for Magic's or Zontic's. It doesn't really matter to me that much, in all honesty. Just move the pieces around, because I just feel like role for role, there is a lot of overlap with Donk. I think there's like a couple that are different, but like doesn't really matter to me that much. If they're both insanely good riflers, they should be able to coexist. And I just feel like if you're a spirit, you guys already the point about you have an academy team. You can move people up and move people down, especially for events that don't really matter. Like,
yeah, true.
Like Astana is clearly like a great testing ground to find out whether or not you can be the best of the rest. And I feel like if you just take a gamble. Put Kyosuke in for Zontix or Magic's. Just take your pick if you're a spirit. And then just try out Astana, see how he handles that kind of pressure, and figure out, is this worth the gamble? Because like the calendar, I've talked about it on like Snake and Banter, for example. The calendar is really weird right now. None of the tournaments all until the major have this weird sense of like they matter, but they don't really matter because you're already qualified for the major. You don't really need to worry about it too much. This is the perfect opportunity to just swing for the fences on some kind of move before June 2nd and Austin is locked in. I mean, I think you have to be locked in, but I think they probably, if I had to guess, they probably registered Kyosuke as a substitute for themselves for the Austin major. So why not just between now and then just try him out in a live environment? I just feel like this is a weird chance that Spirit won't have again. Also, why? When is there a better opportunity to play Tier 1 teams in a live environment where the other Tier 1 teams are going to try their hardest? Because everybody's still trying at these kind of events. It's just that you can mix things up for yourself. So I don't know why they're not even like hinting at it. That's what's been pissing me off most about this kind of messaging from Spirit, is like they're not interested. And it feels like if you have to ask me, and when I've talked to Magic's a little bit here and there, it just kind of feels like Kyosuke, I think like he never said this directly, but what I would read between the lines of everything he's told me, and like even things he said on my stream, like we've been in Discord chats together, is it feels like a roles thing. Like they don't really like that he plays so many of Donk's roles, and that there would be just such obvious overlap. But like that is me. That is hearsay. Like just so people are aware, don't quote me on that. That's me kind of like saying like Magic's was talking about his roles are very bad roles, but if you and he was like tongue-in-cheek saying, you know, you throw Kyosuke into these roles, he will still get a 1.3 rating. Like he's saying this all in jest. He's like completely like you can't be dropping an AK to Donk every round and still put up the numbers that Kyosuke's putting up, because he's the guy right now that's getting priority on the team. I feel like Spirit are in a really shit situation, but it's because of a lack of a willingness to pull the trigger. And I feel like that's in a way, like on the flip side, why we praise an organization like Vitality. They have foresight. They're looking always towards the future of, you just won a major with Dupree, you instantly replace him with Flames. I think that was one of the most baller moves you could have possibly done as an org. It's looking into the future. It's very like Belichick-esque, you know. It's very like the best orgs in history, the best GM'd orgs in history are looking towards what the player is going to be in the future, not what they're giving me in the past. You know, that's things Hassan said.
Face fucked up, their face fucked up multiple times, and they're still fucking up with this because they didn't think what's going to happen down the road. Like when these players, they have new wave of players, and when your players are just off their peak, like where they're in a downfall. So yeah.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or be a pleb and don't.